Today we're beginning a new section about applying natural language processing techniques to do the task of spam classification. In particular, we're going to do the spam classification task with a dataset on emails. In this section, we're going to take a look at number 1, using an open source dataset and what is the Enron Dataset. We're going to talk about loading the Enron datasets into memory. We're going to take a tour over tokenization, lemmatization, and stop word removal as a pre-processing step to the text. We're going to then convert the text into numbers in a process called feature extraction into bag of words representations using the Scikit-learn library. And then finally, we're going to implement a very simple naive Bayes model with NLTK. So this video will first begin in looking at what datasets we're going to work with and what is the Enron dataset. In particular, I want to focus on talking about how data anchors natural language processing and machine learning, and also finding, understanding, and downloading the Enron spam datasets. So you might have been driven to this course because you heard a lot of new developments and breakthroughs around artificial intelligence using machine learning. And every day there seems to be a new application, a new benchmark that has been broken by some AI. What it gets less often reported is the data that enables this scale of machine learning training. In fact, no matter how complex your machine learning model is or how good your machine learning algorithm is, if you don't have the right data to train it on, you don't have the most important assets in AI. For people who want to learn about AI techniques, whether it is in natural language processing or not, one of the biggest gifts is that we can nowadays find datasets online very easily, and they're open source and licensed in a way that you can download them, practice, and experiment with your natural language processing skills. So Enron is such a dataset. It's actually a very old dataset from more than 12 years ago. But it's still a very good way for us to get our hands dirty in real-world data and to practice what it means to train a natural language processing pipeline. Let's go take a look at the Enron datasets. If you search for Enron spam datasets on Google, the first link brings you to this very simple website. So what it is, it's simply saying there's a README, and then there is the Enron dataset in the preprocessed form, and there's also Enron spam in a raw form. So going from raw messages to preprocessed messages is somewhat covered before, but there's also a more advanced chapter later in this course to talk about how you can go from completely raw messages to processed messages. The first thing to do with any dataset is to understand how it is collected. So here it says you can see all the processing details in the paper Spam Filtering with Naive Bayes, which Naive Bayes. And I'd encourage you to search and have a look at this paper, but this paper is naturally very theoretical. So this text document also describes a little bit how the dataset is collected and how the preprocessed data in the preprocessed subdirectory is handled. In particular, we also notice that the authors mark spam as spam, and then they use the word ham to refer to non-spam messages. If you download the preprocessed form of the Enron dataset, you can see that it splits into both ham and spam folders. I've put this data under the code samples that come with this course, and if we just simply go into ham, you can see that each message is an email. So for example here, I think somebody just sent an email with farm pictures attached, and here it's more of a long conversation between a few people from 1999. So while that just looks like a bunch of browsing, a bunch of downloading things, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for us to find the right datasets to practice our natural language processing skills on, and how important it is to understand how these datasets came to be. A lot of the art of machine learning and artificial intelligence is about how you pick the right model for the right data and engineer the right features from the right data.